Welcome, beautiful mindsetters. Welcome to Maths Literacy, the maths that has lots and lots of English and lots of grammar in it. Welcome. We are going to be doing revision in this hour. Thank you so much for all the questions that you guys have brought in. Thank you so much to Liberty, our sponsor. Before we begin, how can we forget that? Thank you, Liberty, for being our sponsor for the show. Where would we be without you guys? I am going to start with a question from Claudia. So Claudia, thank you so much for the question that you have brought through to us. It's a question on taxation, our favorite topic, right? We have been doing taxation throughout our revision just to show you how important taxation is. And it's one of those things that you need to know, guys. You cannot walk into an exam without knowing and understanding taxation fully. There are different ways to ask taxation. So there isn't one specific way. You can't really say, I know this way, it's the only way, I'm walking into the exam with just this specific way. Go through all these question papers and know the different types of ways in which your taxation could be asked. Let's look at the table that we have been given by Claudia. Thank you, Claudia, for that question. So it says to us here, it's not very clear, but I'm going to try and make the most of it. So it says that Miss Nkunu is 56. Okay, and she's a general assistant at the Wake firm in Ikageng, and she earns a gross monthly salary. So already we know that we're talking about gross monthly salary over there. Please know what a gross monthly salary is. There's two types of things that you need to know in terms of salaries. You need to know what a gross salary is, and you need to know what a net salary is. So a gross salary is everything before the deductions. It's everything before everything else has been deducted, basically. Before your pension funds have been deducted, that's your gross salary. Whatever you're signing down on your contract is your gross salary. And your net salary is what people like to say is your take home. It's what you're going to be taking home after all the deductions have been made. So in this particular case, this woman over here, we are being told that she has a 9,857.30 gross salary. So I'm just going to rewrite it over here so that we can all see what we are talking about. So it's 9,857.30. Okay, that's our gross salary. And then we are then told that there are the following deductions. So now we know what the deductions are going on over there. It says that she's got a union membership of 28 Rand. So it means that every single month there's going to be a union that's pulling money from her, and that's 28 Rand. Pension fund is 7.5 of her gross salary. So we already know that we're going to be calculating 7.5 of that gross salary over there. And then it says to us there, medical aid is half of the total medical aid subscription fee due as shown below. So Cindy's a medical aid membership subscription cost. So we've got the medical aid subscription cost there. I want you guys to see what is happening. It says to us that if the gross monthly salary is between 0 and 9,000 Rand, this person, there's going to be a main member fee, and there's going to be whether that person's spouse is in the medical aid, and then whether the kids are also in the medical aid. As you can see, the children do pay way less in terms of the medical aid. Let's look at the first question. The first question says to us, calculate her annual salary. So whenever you hear the word annual, I love saying this and putting in definitions because we are doing maths literacy. The words that often come up, please make sure you know the definitions to those words. It's very, very important for you to know the definitions to those words. So in this particular one, it's annual. Anything that's annual is yearly. So it means we're going to take the monthly income and we are going to multiply it by the number of months we have in a year, which is 12. So let's take this amount and multiply it by 12. Okay, that's the first question that we have from Claudia. Thank you, Claudia, for that question. So we said that this person earns 9,857.30. We need to multiply that by 12 because we've got 12 months in a year. Whenever you hear annual, you need to know that, okay? So that's 9,857.30 multiplied by 12. That gives us change. That gives us 118,000. Let me just write that down. 118,287. 287.60 cents. So now we know how much this person is going to be earning annually. Okay, stunning. The next question says to us, calculate her monthly pension fund contribution. So we were told that she is going to be paying 7.5%, okay, of her gross salary every month. So we're just going to take that 9,857 and we're going to find 7.5% of that because we were given the 7.5. So we use the information that we are given. So that's 9,857.30 times 7.5%. So we want to know how much the pension fund is going to be in terms of that. So that's 9,857.30 times 7.5 all over 100. And that gives us 793. I'm going to round that off to 2 decimal places, so it's going to be and 30 cents. Please make sure you know you're rounding off. Do not walk into an exam without knowing rounding off. So the third question that we do have says to us, determine her annual UIF contribution. Listen to the words that are being used. Those are the key words, okay? So initially it said to us monthly. Annual. Again, it's asking us for annual. So now they're saying to us her annual UIF contribution. Be super careful in terms of those keywords. Annual, we know that it's for the year. In question 1, we already calculated the annual salary that she would be earning. So we just take that. Again, UIF, guys, it's very important. In this particular question, it was not mentioned. The percentage of UIF was not mentioned. You need to know these things. How much is UIF, guys? How much do you as an employee contribute? How much does the employer contribute? The UIF contribution is standard on 1%. So please be super careful in terms of that. So we're going to calculate 1% of that annual amount. So we're being asked just for the annual amount, not the monthly amount. So we leave the answer as it is. Let's take the annual amount, which is 118,287.60. And we want to say times 1%. Percentage is always over 100. Okay? Percentage is always over 100. I want to see my number. So that's going to be 118,287.60. Please be super careful in terms of putting in your numbers. Don't put in the wrong number. I find that sometimes learners will go in and put in the wrong number. Change. 1,182. 1,182. 0.876. I'm going to round that off to 2 decimal places, making it 88 cents. So for a moment there, it caught me off guard. I was like, why is the UIF so big? Because normally UIF is there at around 100 and something rand. This is because it's the annual. It's for the whole year. So you can see that for the whole year, this person is going to be paying 1,182.88 cents for UIF. And if we were asked for the monthly, we just take that money and divide it by 12. Okay, stunning. The next question then says to us that she's a single parent. Okay, so it means that she does not have a spouse. with 2 children belonging to the medical aid fund. So now we're going to use the table that we have been given in terms of the medical aid fund. And then it says to us here, use the table to calculate the monthly contribution to medical aid. Let's look at the table and see exactly what it is that they are talking about. So we know that she earns in this particular bracket. That's the second bracket, okay? I hope that looks proper. So she earns around here, which is the second bracket. Stunning. She's the main member. So we know. Let me just remove everything else to make our screen nice and clear. So we know this is her bracket, number 1. Number 2, this is going to be the medical aid that she pays as the main member. And then she doesn't have a spouse, so I'm going to scratch that out, okay? And then for each child, it's going to be 519. So we want to know how much this person is going to be paying for medical aid. That's 1,449. So that's 1,449 plus, we want now, it's going to be 519 per child, but it's 2 children. So I'm going to do that. Okay, see what I did over there? Please be super careful in terms of that. So it's going to be 1,449. Let's just move that a bit up. 1,449 plus, I'm going to put that in brackets, okay? 519 times 2. So it's 2,487. 2,487. That's a big contribution, okay? So in terms of this, don't be shocked by the numbers because generally people pay quite a lot of money for medical aid. So don't be shocked in terms of this. The UIF is the one that's normally on the downside. So we can see that this person is paying medical aid for themselves and they're paying medical aid for their children, okay? So we need to be super careful in terms of that. But now let's go back because I'm remembering something super important, okay? One of the conditions said to us, I'm remembering this now. Let's fix that. Let's go and see what the condition said. I'm remembering something about conditions. It said half of the total Medicaid aid subscription. Okay? So it means that this person is going to be paying half of the medical aid and their company is going to be paying half of the medical aid. That's one of the company benefits. Not every company gives that benefit, but in this particular case, this company is giving this benefit. So you need to be super careful in terms of that. What are we going to do? Did you see I went and I corrected myself? We're going to take the total that I've calculated and we're going to divide it by 2. This is then going to tell us how much she is contributing to medical aid. But in terms of our question, it says to us here, use the table to calculate the monthly contribution. So it's going to be her monthly contribution that we are calculating. We take the total and we divide that by 2. This is the reason why you always need to read your questions twice. Okay? So therefore, we take this total, 2,487, divide that by 2. So I'm just going to divide that by 2, which is going to give me 1,243. 1,243. There was a comma there. And 50 cents. Whenever there's one digit, just add a 0 at the end. Stunning. So please read your question twice in terms of that. Be super, super careful when you are doing such questions. Okay? The next question says to us, calculate all the monthly deductions. So now that we know what her monthly deductions are, we're going to calculate what her monthly deductions are. We're going to add them all together. Let's go add her monthly deductions. The first one that we know of is the 28 Rand for the union. So that's 28 Rand for the union. Stunning. Plus the 7.5 that we calculated, but that's 7.5 of the, where is it? There. That's 793.30. 793.30. I hope that is correct. Let's see. Stunning. And then the next one is the UIF. But we cannot go and subtract this UIF because remember, this is annual, okay? This is annual. So we cannot go and use that one. So we take this number and we divide it by 12 to find what the monthly one is. Let's go divide that number by 12 to find what it is. It's 1,000.88 divided by 12. That's going to be, you remember what I said? It's going to be 98 Rand and 57. 98 Rand 57. Stunning. And then we've got the medical aid contribution going on over there. 1,243.50. Stunning. Let's go and add those numbers. So that's going to be 28 Rand plus 793.30 plus 98 Rand 50, which is the UIF. So UIF is quite a small, but remember your company is also paying, okay? 43.50. So total deductions, 2,163. I think it's 0.30. Yes. Stunning. So now we've got the total deductions. So deductions are not the kindest thing in terms of the payslip. So whenever someone says they don't have money, believe them. Okay, so the next question says to us, calculate her net salary. I said to you guys earlier that net salary is what you take home after all the deductions have been made. So we know that this person earns 9,750 something or 9,857. So we're going to take that amount and we're going to subtract all these total deductions. Okay, stunning. And then we're going to get our 3 marks. So this person earns 9,857.30 minus the deduction that we just made right now here, 2,163.30. So what is that going to be? It's going to be 9,857.30 minus 2,163.30. Please be super careful with such big numbers. It leaves us with 7,694. 7,694. So despite the fact that this person has 9,850 something attached to their name in terms of gross, despite that, the only amount that they are taking home is going to be the 7,694. So we need to be mindful in terms of the difference between gross and net. Okay? Be super, super careful when it comes to such. The difference between gross and net is super important. The next question says to us, determine her annual taxable income. Her annual taxable income. What her annual taxable income means? It means determine how much can be taxed from this person. Okay? How much can be taxed or which amount is taxable. So in this particular case, the amount that is taxable is going to be the amount that we've just calculated now, and we're going to multiply that amount by 12. Why are we doing that? Because there are amounts that SARS is not allowed to tax you on, such as medical aid, especially medical aid, okay? It's the compulsory deductions that SARS is not allowed to make people pay tax for. So we're going to take this amount and we're going to multiply that amount by 12. Please be super careful when it comes to these things. Ask your teacher, what am I allowed to be taxed on? What am I not allowed to be taxed on? So you walk into an exam knowing exactly what you are talking about. So let's take this amount and multiply it by 12. So it's going to be 7,694, and this is 2 marks. So that's how you know that you're not going to be doing too much work. Okay, times 12, 92,328. 92,000, I just need to check that again, 328. Okay. Your taxable income is your annual, okay? So be super, super careful in terms of that. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because some people forget and then they'll take that 9,000 instead of taking that 9,000 and multiplying it by 12, or taking that 7,000 and multiplying it by 12. Yes, SARS does take money from you monthly, but they calculated it annually first and then started taking it monthly from you, okay? And those calculations are made by the employer, so it's not something that you have to worry about. The last question that we have coming from Claudia. Thank you so much, Claudia. Your questions have been so insightful. The last question says that she was promoted to a senior administrator in March 2015, and she earned a taxable income of 12,053 Rand and 40 cents per month. Determine the percentage increase of her taxable income. So whenever we asked for percentage increase, there's a formula that you need to know. But in this particular case, the formula has been given to us. If the formula is not given to us, please make sure that it's a formula that you do have at the back of your head, and it's a formula that you are mindful of. So in this particular case, we are looking for the percentage increase, and the percentage increase that we are looking for, this is the calculation that we are going to be using. Okay, look at this formula super, super carefully. Percentage increase. So I'll just say the percentage increase. I'll call it PI. So percentage increase is equal to new amount. I'll just say new minus old amount all over the old amount. Okay? And because it's a percentage, we need to multiply that number by 100. So be super, super careful in terms of that. What is the new amount? Okay, the new amount, I'm actually going to put that in the calculator. This person is now earning 12,053.40. So that's the new amount, okay? And this new amount, oh, I didn't have to put that in. So that's 12,053.40 minus. So I think I'm going to take this and put it on a bigger scale. Let's just do that. I'm going to erase that, and I'm going to put that on a nice bigger scale for all of us to see. So the new amount is 12,053.40 minus the old amount, which is 9,857.30, all over the old amount, which is 9,857.30. Please don't forget to multiply that by 100 at the end, okay? Let's not shoot ourselves in the foot. Minus 9,857.30 divided by 9,857.30. That's the amount we're getting. But remember, I said to you, multiply that by 100 because it's percentage. Otherwise, you're going to be left with a funky number. 22.28. 22.28%. So I rounded that off to 2 decimal places. Be super careful in terms of your rounding off. And the reason I say that is because in the instructions, the instructions that learners never read, Under the instructions, it tells you round off to so many decimal places. Sometimes it says to you round off according to the context. So you need to be super careful in terms of your rounding off. So I'm just going to round off to 2 decimal places, standard, unless stated otherwise. That was the last question from Claudia. Thank you so much, Claudia. I will see you guys on the other side of the ad break.